Let's run.
Hey, Herd, we are getting ready. We are just out of round one. We had a great round one. We got Steve with us, and then we have a Hall of Famer, the Tigers. We're going to do the transition of the prizes. Steve's going to take you through that here in just a minute, and Tigers is going to tell us how he's doing. He had a great round one, so he has the spice of the essence of Ram down at this point. I'm going to quickly just run through some of the games from yesterday. The big storylines of this tournament were Farley Dickinson. That was obviously a historic win, and then we had a 15 seed in Princeton win. But aside from that, and Steve's going to run through the big upset game with a little bit of more details, it was the quality of the first round. There were so many good games at every time slot. Like, and I'm not huge into college basketball. Like, I just kind of lightly pay attention. But I caught the last 3 to 10 minutes of every game at every round, and it was awesome. There were competitive games. So from yesterday, some of the amazing games, the FAU Memphis game literally came down to the last 6 seconds with a call that was made that was a little bit controversial, but probably fair given the circumstances. TCU Arizona State was an awesome game. Drake Miami was, even though the score didn't end up being super close, Miami clawed their way all the way back. They were down in the second half in that game, made a big comeback. Kennesaw Xavier game was great. It ended. I wish there had been one more shot. And even though the ending score was 5 points, it really was a one-score game with a foul that had to be given. And obviously, like I said, some of the big ones that Steve's going to go over with you. But that was an awesome day yesterday. It didn't matter if you watched the morning game, the afternoon games, the night games, even the last games. They all had something that kept you on the edge of your seat. I hope we get a great second round. I'm going to go through a little bit of that after Steve. But Steve's going to go through the award ceremony, and he's going to also talk a little bit about some of our prizes. So I'll hand it over to Steve.
So I guess before the awards, one thing I'll say about Fairleigh Dickinson. All right, I've been researching this a lot. So FDU, or Fairleigh Dickinson University, you know, University of Maryland, Baltimore College, they won against UVA, like 5 years ago, something like that. That was the first time ever a 16 seed had beaten a 1 seed. And a lot of the research really that founded RAM was centered around how unlikely it is for a 16 seed to beat a 1 seed and for 15 to beat a 2. You've seen that in how you get awarded 144 RAM points if a 16 seed beats a 1. So it had only happened once ever since 1985 out of 4 16 seed versus 1 seed matchups every single year since 1985. It had only happened once before last night. But I do believe that last night's was the biggest upset in NCAA history. Here's a couple of reasons why. If you didn't know, last year, Fairleigh Dickinson was 4-22. Their head coach, Tobin Anderson, joined the team 10 months ago. And they have the smallest average height size of like any college basketball team, like pretty much nationwide. And they are like one of the smallest universities in the country to actually have a basketball program. So like those facts, like it really was David versus Goliath. And Purdue, their center 7'4". I mean, a big game plan for Tobin Anderson and the Knights centered around how do they tackle with their size, taking out a 7'4" center. So it's really an amazing story. It's exciting to see such a small team like overcome that, and to be the second team ever to beat a 1 seed as a 16 seed. So
secret is they had heart, and a couple of us this year predicted it.
That's right. A
11.
few teams did. I believe it was 12 teams. Was it 12, Brad?
I thought it was 11.
11. Okay. Yeah, so out of 58 in the first round, like that's a decent amount to pick somebody that's it's to a certain extent it's a lottery ticket, it's like, well, and so you might be thinking, well, the people who are at the top, all of them just picked all 416 seeds, but that's not exactly the case. We have some exciting news to talk about with prizes. One of the things we wanted to do, we wanted to bring Ryan on because we understand we've been a little delayed with getting our prizes out for Ram World Cup. But we're excited that they are arriving to people. Ryan lives in town in Richmond, Virginia here. And he was the winner of Ram World Cup that wrapped up at just before Christmas, really. And so Ryan was the overall winner for Ram World Cup. It really ran from November to December. It was a good while, like 4 or 5 weeks.
He was
fun time.
Tigers, not the Tigers, not a
Yeah.
Tiger, just Tigers, straight up.
Tigers.
Let me tell you, that last World Cup game was one for the history books.
Oh, we picked a good time to start these tournaments. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, Argentina came out on top. Messi will go down in history as one of the greats, if not the great.
Really, I think our tournament is making actual sports be better. Like they're elevating their game because of us. So.
Factually, statistics back that up. So,
Unfortunately.
All right. So Ryan, the things he won. So one, he was top 5, clearly because he was number 1. So he will be getting a coin hole board. The only ones we had were prototypes, and Hoop Swoopers out in Oregon. You have received the prototypes. So, but we will have more probably, I think, by Tuesday. So I'll be getting that to you very quickly. For being a round winner, Ryan won the I think, yeah, we have to, yeah, here, let me, so here's how you have to show it on camera.
Very good.
There we go. So it's etched, it's sandblasted, it's etched, laser etched, so you can wash it dishwasher safe. Oh, he is pouring his beer into it right now, so that's great. But the round winner pint glass, he won that for winning the first round. And so there's always miles to go in these tournaments with multiple rounds and like different prizes to be won. And then for winning the overall World Cup championship, there we go. It's
our
the Rammy.
production value needs to go up over time, but we'll get there.
There she is.
Very nice. Thank you.
It's the Rammy Award. So
This is quality.
congratulations,
Thank
Ryan.
you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for coming on. And
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
we'll get
Well,
your
I'm-
coin hole board to you in short order. And for anybody else who was top 5 or was like the name winner, you'll be getting a coin hole board as well. Those are coming in very soon. So one thing I wanted to cover too, prize wise, was flocks will not have prizes. Flocks are experimental. We're figuring out how the flocks work kind of with this March Madness. But, one thing that we really understood was that people like to play with friends. Like, obviously, we're kind of creating a cool community here with the bigger herd. But also, like, it's nice to be able to do a bracket with your friends. That's what, or your coworkers. And so one of the things we wanted to do, because sometimes it's like, oh, I have all these brackets out there. Like, I'm trying to keep track of which one's which. So we're trying to create the ability that you can play with multiple groups of friends with one entry. And so that way it kind of simplifies things. You can kind of keep it straighter, but you can play with different groups of friends with only doing one thing. And so we're excited. The Hoop Swoopers clearly, like, they jumped on this idea and got their flock together very quickly. So here we are going to be keeping track of flock stats and who is like the flock winner for this. So I want to explain how that's going to work. We won't have prizes this go around.
You got
But we'll
about
do
2.5
some
minutes
things.
to do it, Steve.
We'll do some special things to recognize the flock. So one, we're going to be the flock that wins the most rounds. will be the overall Ram flock winner. If it ends up that one flock wins each round, then we'll just recognize the flock round winners. But we wanted to do that. And the way you win is if that your average points per flock member are the highest for your flock, because that way it level sets the amount of people in each flock, because there might be different sizes. So that's how it works. We're still toying with it. We're excited for you guys to be kind of tagging your friends and your family, and just kind of build up our community more. So with that, Brad, you want to kind of take us home with the round of 32?
Yeah, I'm going to close it out. I will say with the flocks, we may change how that operates the next tournament. Like I said, we're experimenting. Also, if you are, I mean, most of us are out of the tournament as far as the overall winner. You can still win the rounds. You can still get the sweet pine class that Ryan has. Like, I'm really looking forward to it, to staying in it. So don't get discouraged. And most years that is not a successful strategy. People just hit this year. They swung for the fences. But a lot of years, and you can see even at the top of out of all the people that it's still not going to guarantee you that you won just because you picked that one pick, because there's like literally a point or two separating everybody at the top. So the people that are at the tippy top are the ones that didn't go all with the underdogs. So some of the games coming up that I'm really excited about in this round, there's going to be 2, 4, 5 games. So you're going to want to tune into those. The Princeton game, that was a 15 seed versus Missouri, I think is going to be great. Creighton versus Baylor, that's going to be another great game. Pitt was what really dominated from an 11 seed spot, and they're going to be playing Xavier that barely got over the hump and had a close game. And then obviously I think the one that people really going to tune in for, the Farley Dickinson versus FAU. FDU, that is going to be a great game, but check them out. We're excited. Horns up.
Horns up.
Horns up. We'll see you
They
guys
never rule out Duke.
next video.